All right, so we're going to take a look at how to change out an air conditioner on a vintage Airstream. This is a 1968 International Overlander that we've been working on. And so, pretty interesting project today. We want to show it to you. So let's get started. Okay, so on this air conditioner unit, if you understand what a split or a mini split is, that is, you have the air conditioner compressor outside of the air conditioner, but the coolant coils are inside it. You have those on homes, you can put them in RVs. Turns out in 1968, that's what they did here. So there actually is no drop-in hole for you to put an air conditioner in, and we'll take a look at that. So we'll show you inside. All right, so here is the other half of the mini split. Now what I mean by that is, you'll see, if you look just inside here, these are the actual coils for the air conditioner. It's pulling fresh air here. And we'll go to the other side here, and you can see it a lot better on this side. Here's your coolant coils on this side. There they are on the other side. And here are the two coolant lines coming down inside. So your only penetrating point is here and a little hole there where the fan comes down into the Airstream. So now I understand from Airstream in Winston-Salem, which used to be Out-of-Door Mart, now is RV1, that the actual split on top of the roof here is glued down, and it's a bear to get off. So we're gonna just, unfortunately it has no coolant in it, or fortunately it doesn't, so I'm just gonna cut the two lines here, two old brass lines that come through, and remove that, and then we're gonna drop down this. But it was just riveted on, and again you can see there's the spline. So there's nowhere to set a new air conditioner. And I'm also gonna have to add something to keep from compressing the aluminum, and there's a spacer that you're going to have to add so you don't crush the inner and outer skins when you tighten the bolts for the new air conditioner. And we're going to be putting a Coleman Mach 3 1350 in here, so we'll get started. Well, it's still under pressure. That's not good. I am sorry to the universe. I am sure I'm putting old Freon out into the world. I apologize to the world.
Yep, what are you doing?
I'm making a mess.
I leave you alone and you go and dismantle the air conditioner.
Yeah. My bad.
Because he got a new one today. Right there. It's going to go in. Uh-oh.
There he goes.
Okay.
Woo. Okay. Yeah, probably so.
Do I need to get something for your toe?
I don't know. Not right this minute.
Careful. He's getting down the air conditioner. Slowly, slowly, slowly. This is how it's done.
Okay.
How's that feel?
Oh.
Your toe okay?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. You got it off.
Yeah, for a little bit.
Okay. Looks a little sketch here. Okay, well, let's take one. Well, that went fast. How much do you think that weighs?
50 pounds, like this.
Oh, okay.
Something like that, maybe more.
But that is the original.
Yep.
Get a load of that.
Can't imagine why it isn't working.
Looks a little rusty. What's it got the name on it?
I don't know.
Probably valuable.
Yeah, right.
He's probably like One of 215. I don't know. That looks like a rat's nest right there. Okay, well.
Cleanup time.
Cleanup time. Okay. Well, good.
All right, well, I'm going to take a look at this just for a moment and show you what I had to do and why you got to be ever so careful in doing this. So the first thing I did was cut out a test panel here between where the electrical wires went and between the drive shaft hole. So I just kind of cut that out there. Next, I felt around and I could feel I had two electrical cables here. You can see those are two of your 110s. You do not want to cut those. And a third 110 here that supplies the air conditioner. I knew this was here, but who would know that those two are there? Except I read the guy on Airstream forum that cut these, so kind of figured they might be something here. Here's the drive shaft hole for the fan. Again, here's where the electrical would go. So I then used this as my template and did my 14-inch cuts. But note, I went a little inside of that because there's no telling if you're going to actually have this square. And so I found that, in fact, I wasn't quite square on that corner. It had cockeyed ever so slightly. So in trimming it out to get it to fit snug, I was able to just kind of cheat that side and this corner and get it back into square. So here's the tool I use. Just use a grinder with a cutting blade on it. And by doing that, I'm able to really keep this depth just to the depth of the aluminum. So I scored it initially just to mark where it was going to be, checked my measurements again, and I'm yet measuring seam to seam and seam down here to seam. But I found out from this that it's actually, that seam is about almost it's a half an inch off from that seam to here. So I did come back, and I'm sure it's different on every Airstream, so don't trust the seams, trust the installation of skylights and of that drive shaft for your center line. So just kind of giving you a heads up there. So in any case, refine that. Now I'm going to plunge a pilot hole in every corner, so I'll see it on the interior of the vehicle. I'm going to cover up everything on the inside with sheets so I don't get all this spray, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go ahead and tie these up out of the way using something like a piece of lumber. Here, just zip tie it up so I don't touch that and I don't possibly touch that. But I know there's nothing else now there that I'm going to hit. So I'll very carefully again do the inverted from the inside of the trailer. The only thing I'll note here is, man, is that messy to use a grinder above your head, so, and inside the trailer. It's just going to get on all your soft surfaces. So but I sure weather would do that. That $14 grinder is way better than using my jigsaw and cutting through all these cables. And also, a jigsaw just is going to constantly hop with this aluminum, which is so soft. So okay, well, that's it. I'll show you what's going on when we get to the inside and show you how I'm going to install my trim kit from Out-of-Door Mart in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I've got that ready to go. It's a set of aluminum that we've got down there. There it is. And I'll install that aluminum trim kit so that we can have this ready. So be careful, and this is coming along as well as I could hope. So a bit of an update where we're at right now. I've gone ahead and I've set into place my two primary front and rear bars, and you can see I've also gone ahead and put my rivets in place and ground those down. I'm using Airstream's rivets. I think there's 11/64, something like that. And then I have 6 larger rivets. You'll see them out there. Those are their almost 1/4 inch rivets, but yeah, they're Airstream rivets. They have a little rubber gasket in them. I'm going to go ahead and put sealant on them as well, just to make sure. But I'll go ahead and give a little description of what we've done here. You can see how these rivets kind of crush out. So they're more significant than the kind of standard rivet. And I'm going ahead and I'm putting this is kind of a, it's not a U channel. It definitely is more of a tri-channel, and I'll show you that. And I've gone ahead and I've taken a 3/4 inch off here and a 1/2 inch off here so that I can properly kind of step them. I wanted this support here. I also want that for insulation. And I've done that in all 4 corners. You can see here, setting the front piece and back piece in first, and then kind of putting this into place like that. Now the exceptions to that, of course, are going to be right here. And I've got this prepped to go in. But from right at this point, I am going to take where my the old water drainage line used to go, and I've gone ahead and I've taken that off, and I've put a hole up here, and that is where this drainage line will be chased. So it's going to chase right down here and into the ceiling, so it won't be visible. I like that a lot better. Gone ahead and I've prepped a patch, a 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch patch to cover this area on the top side, and I've used the aluminum from this roof panel to create that, so it will match the roof and the patina. So I'm going to use sealant for that. This had a scratch on it, I noticed, but that wasn't, I guess that was putting this metal piece in. Though I've chased, you'll see this has its, it has a place where you can chase your electric, and that's what that's for there, and I've gone ahead and put that where it should be. But that scoring is just on the outer sheath, it's not to the actual wire, so just a little bit of electrical tape just to make sure that doesn't have any rub point. But I've got the electrical ready, so let me show you what it looks like to cut. Well, here's the piece of I don't know what you call that, a Z channel or something like that, but you can see that I've gone ahead and cut off a 3/4 inch top stagger and a 1/2 inch lower stagger, and I've kind of rounded these edges just so it will go back in, so it will stay, kind of fill that void. However, on this side I went ahead and did a flat cut. Again, that's so that I can run my drain line past, and it shouldn't weaken it at all. And I'll use proper silver duct tape to fill those voids and keep from air movement. But that's ready to be put in. And then finally, this is the 4.5 by 4.5 inch blank that I've made. And again, I've done a similar thing. I've slightly rounded the edges. And I've also gone ahead and I'm using a metal rasp just to clean this up so there's no sharp edges on it. I'm going to use some goof off because there's still some stickum here from some tape I was using. Let me show you my rig that I've put up. I'm using this. This is a scaffolding that I've used for polishing Airstreams, and I've got it set at its very top setting. Gone ahead and prepped the air conditioner. It's in there ready to go, and I've gone ahead and preset it up atop because I had some help to do that. Now I'll just kind of scoot it up onto the roof and slide it into place when I'm ready, and then cut the box away and put it in place. So really almost everything on this project is prep and taking your time. Man, do you want to take your time. So getting close, and I'll go ahead and let you all see what it looks like up here. Okay, again, here we are. So just a top side view. Now for whatever reason, my square hole didn't quite line up with this beam that's inside the roof, but it really doesn't matter that this is sticking out a bit. I could have trimmed it off and squared it up, but for whatever reason, this member, as best I can tell, is going a little this way. I don't know why that is, because I've definitely made sure it's a square hole and it squares up on the inside. But again, this is only a 1/2 inch this is an H channel that they send you, 1/2 inch on the bottom, and the arch creates this 3/4 inch each side top plate to stiffen it up. And you can see again, these are these rivets that I've used, and I've polished them down, got them ready to go. So again, let me show you where the rivets are again. There's 3 on each side of the cowling. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 at the back side of the air conditioner unit. 1, 2, 3. There's 2 that are here, and those are underneath the actual compressor, and you just can't see those, or underneath the fan. You have to remove the fan inside of it to find that. And again, there were 2 right here, 1 and 2, and those I've reused those holes. But yeah, there were 2. So in total, you've got hidden rivets, and it probably varies slightly Airstream to Airstream, year by year, but I have 3 in the back, 2 here, and 2 there. So 7 that are hidden from you, and 6 that are not. So you've got to prep that. Then there's 3 that were here. 1, 2, 3. So 7, 8, yeah, we got 10 in total. But again, this is my plate ready to go into place. And I'll go ahead and put down my sealant underneath this. Then I'll drill it and rivet it into place, and then seal around the edges. I'll show you that when we're done. Okay, that's the update for now. Oh, one more thing. When you're cutting into the top ceiling, of course, I cut in very gently in here. Then I've cut from the bottom up, and I put a sacrificial piece of wood to protect my electric wiring that was on this side when I was cutting upwards. And you'll notice that there's a double piece of aluminum. I don't know why that is, but there's a double piece of aluminum right here. And so it all kind of had to be cut through like twice to get it to where it is. Okay, I'm just going to show you kind of the patch that I put on. You can sort of see how those have this, how they stand up. What I've learned is this: come in with a grinder. Setting the grinder here, I can come in on it and just take it down, off, and then smooth it off to where you get that nice smooth surface there. I'm using a Tempro 635. Tempro 635, and again the Airstream rivets that are drilled in with 11/64 bits. So I'm using that, and once I'm done here, I'm going to go ahead and seal all of my rivets with Tempro 365 or 635. I'll get it right, and continue to seal the edge. I did do one thing. I took off the little cup that was here because it would make this stand proud, and I wanted it to be as flush as it could be, just in terms of strength and in terms of accessing all the cables that are under here. And but yeah, I'm pleased with how that's turning out, and we're pretty much getting very close. All I have to do is now pull the coolant or the condensation line, and we'll be ready to put on that last 4 rivets and have this ready to put the air conditioner on. So getting real close. All right, so a little look-see here, because I have gone ahead and run my new tubing. I wish I would have bought enough of it to just run it all the way out. I should have done that. I think it would be, you'd be safe at 10 feet. 8 feet is probably what it's going to be, but I get 10. It's only $1 a foot, so I would have done that if I could do it over. I still might pull it all the way, but in any case, Let me just give you a look-see here. You have to go around an actual bulkhead that's at the back there. It's very hard to see. A lot of wiring, but you'll see the bulkhead right there. You can skirt right around it, not do any drilling, not damage any wiring. But just a reminder, that's all your 12 volt running the front and back of the camper that runs to either side of these skylights on all Airstreams, old and new. You definitely don't want to do any cutting in this area here because you'll see there's these little rivet lines, and those little rivet lines where that bulkhead is in there, it's where they always chase the 12 volt. So just a lot of wires, got to be very careful. But in any case, it pulled real easy. Just a little bit of snaking to get it here. I definitely wouldn't go very much further down than that because that is very hard to get to. And I made this oval so that it wouldn't pinch it as it runs up along here. So you can basically wallow it out with the bit, your drill bit. Just kind of bending the drill backwards that way and wallow it forward, and then do this as well and just kind of give it that oval shape. Then I filed it into a nice oval and smoothed all the edges so it wouldn't cut it. So okay, so now I'm ready to put the insulation back, run my last piece of metal, 4 rivets, and we're ready to set an air conditioner. One last look inside so we can sort of review what's happened with the installation of this Coleman Mach 3 1350 air conditioner. Now, I'm not going to go through a review of how to install this. I didn't worry about that. There's plenty of them online. But what I did want to show you in terms of installing it in an old camper, an old Airstream in particular, was a couple things. One, you can see the outline of the rivets where all of that had been done. I've gone ahead and filled each of these rivets in. The ceiling is discolored because this is a painted ceiling someone did previously, and you can see the original kind of wallpaper that has been glued on during at the factory and installed. So that is there. At some point we're going to try and match the paint, but really it's not too bad. It looks worse than it does when you're here because I'm zooming in. Also, here is the cover that I had to put over that access for the high and low pressure lines. That covers that hole. And I've actually scribed this so that the air conditioner will snug as tight to the ceiling as possible. But you don't need to do that. But you do need to reuse some of that metal work. You can see I've just reused and stayed with the same grain direction in putting in that patch. And I'm pretty pleased with that. I mean, you're going to have to do something to cover up that hole. And I'd rather use the original aluminum with the same wallpaper on it. And of course, when it's all painted, it really will disappear quite well. So we did go ahead and add the heating element to this, and I can tell you, as I have tested it out, it probably is not something that you'll want to use a lot, the heater. It doesn't do that good a job. It also keeps the heat up high right on the ceiling, and it might take the chill off, but it is a pretty loud solution for heat. Of course, if you do have someone sleeping in the front bed or in the front couch, then you could shut the door and keep that on, and maybe it would muffle the sound of breathing. But other than that, I guess it's worth putting in for the extra little bit that it costs to have an extra heater on board. But I've not been very impressed with that feature. Everything else, really impressed with. So that's the inside. Little bit of bonus coverage here. I've just gone ahead and stripped what was silicone on these rails. Never put silicone on aluminum. Use Temp Pro 635. So I've scraped that off. Then I used a Scotch-Brite pad just to clean it off. You can see I've got the air conditioner now up there purring away, and I'm just gone ahead and I am replacing the cover on that area. And because I have a 110 refrigerator, I do not need a big hole in the roof, so I've covered that with roofing tape and just covered that up, and hopefully that'll work to seal up that opening and keep it from having any critters to fly in. Then I've done sealant all around that, so we're ready to go now. So I feel pretty good about that. Sorry I'm using the fill word so, but I'm just going to lay down a bead of this, and then we'll smooth it out. I gotta activate the caulking gun. Okay, to be honest, I can't really, or to be candid, I can't really lay the caulking down without focusing on this. So I'm just going to go ahead now and smooth it out. Okay, a little goes a long way, as you can see. Here I have a joint. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this and I'll just show you the results off camera and then come back. Well, it's not the nicest job in the world, but it is done. And I feel a little bit better about that. This really doesn't solve anything in terms of leaking inside the camper. What it does solve is when you have an awning on, the water won't run inside this rail and down the side of the camper while you're under the awning in rain. So it should help with that, and I feel better about this having that done. It also help just make sure in that sandwiching that water doesn't get through that rivet. I'm not having any problem now. I did fill in this little seam so that that seam wouldn't create a natural weep point. And we got to do a little bit of sanding here just to get this ready to take my awning. And yep. Okay. Next up, I'll put the new cover on that and I'll let you see what that looks like. All right, well, here's why I'm replacing this. You can see this is the original refrigerator vent cover. They were plastic, unlike in the 70s, they started doing aluminum. So this is just a ABS plastic, and you see how heavily cracked this is. And it was just kind of holding on by a wing and a prayer up there. I didn't want to lose it on a long trip. Then the other, this is the one that I'll put the link for in the section below, but this is a replacement. It's a much heavier gauge. It's pre-painted silver, and on the inside you can see the gray ABS, and it's a much harder material than this. You can see how flexy this is. This doesn't flex at all. I mean, there's actually no comparison. So I've gone ahead and ordered one of these I guess a year ago, because I figured I'd replace this at some point when I was doing the AC, and that's what I've done. So if I recall right, this isn't too expensive. And even if it was $100, it wouldn't be overly priced. I really think this is a nice upgrade, and it's going to look much better on top of that camper. And just note, when you put it on, it's aero, so the sloped back and the bubbled front sort of match the way the trailer is too, with that duck tail and the more rounded front. So I went ahead and filled in my original rivet holes. There was no way I could re-drill this to hit, and the pre-divoted marks do not match up with where the original was riveted in. So I just put in basic rivets, and I'm going to just make sure that nothing leaks by putting down some butyl tape under this. I think it'll soften it and seal it up against the roof. That's what I'm going to do. All right, so I'll show you just about there, just about done, and I'll show you the finished product. All right, we're just about wrapped up with this. I've just actually done my last of the rivets, and you can see I'm using the Airstream style rivets, and I'll let you look at these. These are great rivets. They're so expensive, but basically I have a little teeny washer on them, and they leave a nub that you have to grind off. Now you can buy a specialty tool for this. I'll show you in the sunlight, it's a little easier to see. But here, these need ground off. The problem though is, you know, to get it really looking like one of these buck rivets, you have to use a specialty grinder that goes on your drill. Now, I've found I can just use my my cutoff wheel and kind of use the flat edge of that cutoff wheel, and it does really well. But I've already used that in this area to repair, because these are much stronger rivet, and all of these rivets had come off and weren't allowing the roof really to, or weren't pulling the roof to this bracket. I've gone ahead and laid in caulking here so that I don't get ambient rain. You can see my cover that I've added on there to keep all the critters out. And so we're just about done with that. And I'm feeling really good about where I'm at with the roof here. And I'll just kind of step down. I want to show y'all one more thing. So this has been kind of fun, and pardon my get up. Since I had the caulking out today, I went ahead and took this off and had to reuse this plate, which is original and it's somewhat metal, and use the larger of these rivets that they sell at your local Airstream dealer. You can see I've just kind of tapped those off. And they're not perfect, but they're better than traditional rivets. And I put a new antenna in, and this is from Vintage Airstream or Vintage Trailer Supply, and went ahead and installed that, and I'm pretty pleased with it. It actually made the radio great and very functional now. So okay, little bonus coverage. So I'm going to wrap this up, and pretty much I think that concludes this. So I'll just mention a couple things to you while I'm looking all scrubby. If you're a glutton for punishment to work on Airstreams like I am, old Airstreams, and then I hope that you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm really trying to get started with that and having fun with it. You can see behind me, this isn't just one, but I have 2 Airstreams that I've done, and that one is getting polished, so it has no sealant on it right now, so I've tarped the ends just to keep any rain from being driven into the seams. And this Airstream, well, this one has really come a long ways. I'm just really doing details now with this one. But I hope you subscribe and join me on the journey, and God bless you.